All right. Well, I'm so grateful to have you all here with me. I have some folks from Christopher House joining me for a conversation about their family to family program, what we know of as part of our Giving Tree program here at Park Ridge Presbyterian Church. And so we're going to be learning a little bit more about where the impact is for all of those gift cards that we have been raising funds for and collecting for our folks at Christopher House. And so I'm going to turn it over to our friends to just do a quick introduction about kind of who you are and what your role is at Christopher House. And then we'll jump into some questions about the impact, really, because we want to know about this partnership from the other side, because we just know our side. So who wants, Judith, you want to go first? You're the veteran,
Sure.
I learned, so you get to go first.
Sure. Yes, Judith O'Callahan, employee, staff member of Christopher House since 1986, if you can believe it. I know the auxiliary members from there. And I remember there was a great pastor there who used to come and help do the food baskets. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was a great leader in getting all that coordinated.
Yes. Hi, Ricardo Villalobos. I am the Director of Family and Community Engagement here at Christopher House. I come to Christopher House for the mission, this idea of connecting families holistically, not just through their child's educational journey, but also their parents' educational journey as they're navigating their children's journey here at school and their own personal stuff at home. We serve 3 very vibrant communities, and I think it says a lot about our parents and our students. And every day is a learning opportunity here, and we're always learning something new. And I think we learn more from them than I think they learn from us sometimes. And I think that's what it brings me to the work. So I'm excited always to explore new partnerships, make older partnerships better and more comprehensive. So we appreciate this interview so much. Any chance to talk about this work is always exciting, because I think we want people to know what happens here and why it's so important. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And
All right.
I'm Tihela Feit, and I'm the Director of External Affairs here at Christopher House. And my role is really sitting at that nexus between building partnerships internally to support the work that we externally that we're doing. And so really, we're so grateful to the longevity of the partnership here with Park Ridge, because our family to family program would not be possible without partners like each of you, the congregants. While you might not be picking ornaments anymore, the meaning and the feeling behind it to make the joy of a holiday season possible for all of our participants is still at the core of what we're doing. And we can't do that for 462 families this year without partners like you. And so we're really, really grateful to continue to have this program and have this partnership. And yeah, so thanks.
Wonderful. So 462 families are being served this year through family to family. Is that a pretty consistent number for you all to serve, or are your numbers growing as your programs are growing over these last few years?
Since COVID, it's grown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. More families, when COVID did hit, families that said, I never thought I would apply for help, mm-hmm. that they did. That was their first time, and they felt really grateful for what was provided for them. And they appreciated the gift cards.
I think we also this year thought differently about how we approach it to families and mm-hmm. opening it up to every single family at every single school. We have 3 early childhood centers, and then we have our charter school, kinder through 8. And so really thinking about how do we make sure that every single student at every level has an opportunity to sign up for this. And so we really were intentional this year, knowing that the needs are a little bit different this year across the board.
Right.
And just hearing that anecdotally from our meetings with parents and just knowing that there was just a little extra need this year.
Yeah. So how many from those different schools, how many families across the board does Christopher House serve with your wraparound services?
So we serve about 1,000 students every year, and then every one of those students has a family unit that with our family support services with Juan's team gets supported. So the impact is in the thousands, but it starts with a scholar.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but 462 of those families are finding avenues for help this holiday season through Family to Family, which is pretty special.
Sure.
What are some of the ways that receiving a holiday gift makes an impact on an individual family or an individual scholar, as you said? What are some of the things that you all see that folks out here in our church might not get to see up close?
Go ahead, Judith. Go ahead.
I would just say it's just not me and Juan that do the interviews or anything. There's a whole team of us and they're family advocates, and there's a connection, the link between the family and our department. And they do assessments, and through those assessments, sometimes you might find out someone's parent died in a different country, or someone's parent might have been incarcerated this year, or someone's parent was deported, right? Those struggles, not only do we realize those things that are going on, but you know, it's just really difficult to know what's going on their end and the humbling experience to reach out for help is something I've learned in this year, the years that I've been here. I've been doing this since 1990, the actual program, and it has grown and developed as well as Christopher House has. I started off as a community organization. Now we're a family of schools, right? So we've grown and developed, but we still have the same mission of working with families, immigrant families. That's what in the Deering community, when it opened up, they were Serbians who we served at the time to assimilate to America. Now things are so different and everybody can be who they are and they don't have to really assimilate to us. But knowing their struggles, the family's struggles.
Yeah, and I think that's what continues to make us so unique, right? Is the idea that every single family has access to a family advocate. So this is the person who is guiding you again through your journey here. And it's not just your child's educational journey, but we support you through anything that may be going on at home, life obstacles. You know, our early childhood programs predominantly serve lower income families. So we see some of the issues attached to that. And those can be heavy, and we engage with families on a daily basis. The assessments are a way to kind of touch base with families. We do them twice a year, and we kind of, it's a little deeper dive, and we're asking some more kind of sensitive questions around household dynamics, mental health, socioeconomic. So we're hearing things and we're seeing, and we're also often receiving requests for supports throughout the year. So we have a sense of like, okay, we can tell that in Belmont, Cragen, there's a higher need for like income supports or job opportunities, or, I mean, so really those assessments help us get a sense of where families are. The family to family and this season is an opportunity for us to engage with families on a different level. So it's an opportunity to say, hey, enjoy this. This is for you. We know it's not going to solve all your problems, but we know, we hope that it brings some joy this season, and that we can at least alleviate some of that stress, right, of the holidays, because they can be stressful for families who are struggling. And so we're very conscious of that. But if we can bring just a small moment of joy and make people feel welcomed and wanted, then that's, I think, a big impact. And I think this really does that for families.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think one of the ways we think about it too is on our end is about spreading hope and spreading joy. And I think what you said about, you know, this isn't going to solve all your problems, but today, this moment, you know, whenever these gifts are shared, it doesn't have to be about what else is going on, you know, and creating some moments of relief in the holidays. That's something that we've talked about with our mission partners a lot throughout the pandemic, is because everything has felt so hard. Everything has felt so heavy in a multitude of ways. And so any moment where we can be a part of a little rest and relief and joy is good for everybody. Those just getting to participate in a little connection of positivity is really helpful for all of us, I think.
Yeah, and I think for little ones, these can be really impactful memories, right? Like to remember that, Christopher House, my school, during the holidays was, gifted us some things, or that we went to a site and there was things for, like, those can be long lasting memories for a child who might be experiencing trauma or anything else at home. That can be life changing. And so we take that, I hope, right, that we all, right, we take that seriously. Like if a child comes into the building with mom and dad, that they get the full experience, because we know that this might be super impactful for them, right? This might be an opportunity for them to gain more trust within the school or in themselves. And so those little pieces of contact, we know how valuable they are.
I will say, being here the length of time that I have, it's nice to see that some of the families we helped in the past are giving back now into this family to family program.
Yeah.
That I've seen people's names, and when they drop off and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're still here," and I'm like, "Yeah." But it's just to see that they want to give back, because it meant something to them when they, when their parent reached out for help, and it impacted them that they're adults giving back.
The one thing that I will share too, is it's all part of a continuum of building different relationships that go feed into hope and joy and that larger piece of creating space for people, especially as we come out of pandemic.
Dare we say?
Dare we say? Right. And so I think it's really special, right? Like they're all like what Judith is talking about, what Juan is talking about, what Park Ridge's community is developing is different points on the spectrum of relationship building. And all of that is only possible in partnership, right? So it's the partnerships of the family advocates, Christopher House full-time staff that's assigned to each and every family, that's building relationship with each family, that is creating safe spaces and comfort to be open to receiving and asking. And then it's the same thing on the Park Ridge's community as well, right? Like to receive and to ask and to be open to participate and to give are all part of this, like the spirit of this moment in time that is December holidays. So that's really what I like love to be part of and to call out, is like we're all just building human touch points, make the world a better place.
I love that. That's beautiful. What's one way that it helps a parent, because the gift cards are going to the parents, not the individual students, right?
Correct.
What are some of the ways that helps a parent in their relationship with their kids, or their relationship to this season, this struggle of this season, to receive help through a gift card?
Well, I would think that it helps them they know their kid best, right? We always put them as parents, as teachers as well. They're the first teacher of their parent, of their children. And just knowing your child, sometimes on our wish list that we put down just basic things, but that mom might know a little bit more. And this will help her relieve her financial struggle with maybe getting something a little bit extra for that child that she hadn't intended to. Things like that. And it could also relieve her financial piece to where she could buy a monthly bus card out of her budget than spending it on a gift for her child.
Yeah, I think, right, as I'm thinking about some anecdotes and families that we've helped recently, there's nothing like a parent's or a mom's stress when they are struggling to balance decisions, important decisions based on their income. And we often see families making some really crucial decisions. Am I going to send my kid to school today because I can't afford a bus card? And those are real stories that we hear often and we see often. Am I going to be able to feed my kids this tonight because I have to make a decision if I send them to school tomorrow? So I think, again, I think these little opportunities for them to be able to make a conscious decision and to have a little bit of space to breathe. I wish we can provide them year round and more often, and tools for them to grow and develop. And that's where we're headed towards. But I hope that answers your question, right? I think it alleviates and it minimizes some of that stress, even if it's for this season, even if it's for that moment they get that card, they can say, okay, I can use this towards this. I've been needing to get this. My child needs a coat or my child needs some socks. I mean, that's really what we're hearing mostly, right? They're essential needs.
Yeah, absolutely. That answers the question. I'm thinking about how the example of, a parent knows their kids best, right? And I'm new in parenthood. I have a 2-year-old, right? I'm still figuring a lot out, but like, there's nothing like being able to give my kid a thing that I know they like. But the love you get back when you give your kid a thing they like. And so that dignity and that ownership and responsibility, being able to like give that gift to a parent, as well as alleviating that stress of this doesn't have to be for the bus card. This can be for my child. Is some of the stories that I was hoping to be able to find that we might miss when we're asking for somebody to go out and get a gift card versus, the ornament with the names and the mittens, but it's like, I would know, like my kid wanted mittens with the dinosaurs on it today, because that is what my kid wanted today. She wanted the dinosaur mittens and it made a difference, right? And I might not know to buy the dinosaur mittens for your preschool kid at Christopher House, and so I love giving that joy back to the parents, because I know as a parent what that joy feels like, and that connection that can't be replaced by somebody outside the home. So.
Yeah. And imagine the mom when her kid opens up that gift and it's the smile on that kid's face, that you made it possible, that the Park Ridge helped us make that possible by partnering together.
So just what's one last thing, maybe each of you could say one last thing that you would want somebody to know about how Christopher House is making an impact for these scholars and their families. Maybe just one thing. I think you guys touched on it in the beginning, what keeps you going, but what's one thing that you would want to make sure the folks at Park Ridge hear about the amazing work Christopher House is getting to be a part of?
I would think that it is just that we're keeping with the same mission that we started out with in 1906, I think. That it's still the same thing that we're providing for families, that support, the resources that they need. The need isn't always just at Christmas, it's year round, right? I coordinate food pantries. I coordinate financial assistance for families. That's not just around this time, but it's a needed thing throughout the year. And just to remember that, we're here all year long.
No, and I echoing Judith, I think our mission, right? I think as we navigate the year and we continue to learn it, like, again, a lot from our communities, our families, and are constantly reminded about where families are and families and different dynamics are and what it takes to survive. I believe strongly that, right, the COVID and quarantine had a deep impact on the social, emotional aspect in children's lives, and that children are gonna, have to navigate this for a long time. And we're seeing depression and anxiety levels higher than I think we've ever seen within our families as we're engaging with them. And so this idea that we can provide support to close to 1,000 families and help them hopefully feel secure and safe within this little world that we have here is really important. There's nothing more valuable than giving a child an opportunity to feel like they are worth something and they are valued and that they have value and that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to be down and out, and knowing that there's people here to have your back and will support you through these things. And I think many people who go through stuff like this don't have that support system. And that's what really determines where they end up in life. So if we can give them that little piece of support, that little nudge, I think that's exactly why we're here. I think that's what this program does. I think that's what our work does year round, is giving that extra support to families.
I'm going to try to tie that all into a bow. It's beautiful, right? So Christopher House has been creating access and opportunity since 1906. We are building relationships to support strong families in Chicago. And we only do that in partnership, in partnering and building relationships with each individual scholar that comes through our door and each individual caregiver and their entire constellation that they identify as family. And then our family grows beyond that to communities that ensure that we can deliver on our mission, right? And so that is Park Ridge, and that is the history and partnership with the auxiliary, with the mission committee, and then beyond, right? It's the building of relationships with other individuals that want to create that opportunity, that equity, that sense of inclusion and belonging through diverse perspectives and walks in life. And so that's what we're here for, and that's what we've been here for, and that's what we'll be here for. And we can only do that together. And that's Christopher House.
And that's Christopher House. And that's our partnership. That's perfect. Yeah, this is everything. I have loved the time to get to dive in a little bit more and see a little bit more about what Christopher House is doing and the ways that folks like us, that I feel like we're on the outskirts, right? We're like, I feel like even though our partnership is long and we have some veteran Christopher House fans around here, I always feel like we're adjacent to the work, but it's been a gift to hear how our partnerships are in and through and about the work too. And we can always, like any relationship, it can always grow and get deeper. And so this has been a great opportunity to shed some light on the ways that our folks can grow deeper in our relationship with Christopher House. So
no, thank you. And I want to just say, in the many years of community work that I've had the opportunity to do in Chicago, it's always been so important to have faith-based partners in the work, right? In every community that I've had the opportunity to work in, it's the partnerships that we always seek out the most and really covet, because there is so much mission-based work, and it's always usually aligned with the organization. And so I really thank you for continuing to work with us and trust in us. I think our families also very much appreciate it. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, definitely. The support that we've had from Park Ridge has been over the top, greatly appreciated, and happy to be part of this village that we all call Christopher House.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all for your time and making time around the busy holidays. And so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.